Live from New York, it's Ask an Engineer.
Hey everybody, and welcome to another live Ask Engineer. We're here at Adafruit in the manufacturing zone. We are manufacturing electronics. That's what we do. I engineer things, and then I make them, and then we ship them to you. Isn't it wonderful? If that's not what you want, you should probably go elsewhere. But if you do want that, you're in the right place.
Yes.
Because it's me, Lady Ada, and this is our show, and with me is Mr. Lady Ada on camera control. We've got an exciting show for you tonight.
We do.
With a lot of blinking LEDs.
We do.
And coupon codes. Tell them what's on tonight's show.
On tonight's show, the code is New Learn, celebrating the launch of learn.adafruit.com update. Very exciting. So you get 10% off all the way up to 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time here on Ask an Engineer.
Woot.
All right. Show and tell. People around the world showing and sharing their projects. Lady Ada will talk about those.
I will.
Pack the Mailbag's going to stop by. Hi, deliver the mail. So nice things are
Hi, packet.
Wanted. Get a job or
Pay other people to do things.
or pay other cool makers to do stuff for you. That's the Adafruit Jobs Work. We'll
Wow,
talk about that.
capitalism.
Yeah. Time travel. Look back in the world of makers, hackers, artists, and engineers. Got a wearables video. 3D printing. Pi stuff. New products. We're going to answer your questions. We have a top secret thing.
Oh, yeah.
We have a trivia question. All that and more on, you guessed it, Ask an Engineer.
Dun, dun, dun.
All right, Lady, let's first pay some bills. Don't forget, everyone, we are supported by you, the viewer. And the code is New Learn, and that'll get you 10% off all the way up to 11:59 p.m. tonight, except for software and gift certificates, because that'd be weird. Okay, couple last things. We have, at the $200 mark, we have free UPS ground in the US, continental US, and half-size Perm Proto. We toss those in New York City, depending on your zip code on checkout. We have same-day service in New York, and that's still going really, really well.
If you need something and you need it
It's worked out.
the same day, order by 11 a.m., you may be able to get it if you're in the right zip code.
And a programming note, this is Ask an Engineer every Wednesday at 8 p.m. We've been doing it for 6 years. We'll be coming up on 7 years soon. And Wednesday, which is today, we also do Show and Tell, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
You
We
may have just
also
watched it. Yes.
do Desk of Lady Ada, and this is part of the Adafruit Live series of events. So I have a couple things to show and share before we get to Show and Tell, because I wanted to talk about some of the new things we're doing. So we do VR now, and in fact right now, if you go to hugvr.com/Adafruit just for the next hour, you can see what's going on here.
This is
in
totally
3D.
like Lawnmower Man, but it's engineering.
Yeah, so that's hugvr.com/Adafruit. And in case you don't want to do that, I'm going to show what the Desk of Lady Ada looked like last night. So I have a 1-minute clip.
Okay.
And this is a screenshot of what we were doing inside of a browser. But the 360 camera is right up here right now. And
Creepy.
I'll show you a clip.
The dark eye watches.
Okay, so this is a test of hugvr.com, and this is a live 360 video using the Theta S. And we're about to broadcast from the Desk of Lady Ada, but I thought I would show what this is like. I've not seen any live 360 streaming. This is the first time I've ever seen it. And a chat room starts, and you can see all the equipment here. That's me. Hi. You know, I'm also recording this with ScreenFlow, so I wanted to show it off. I'll put this up on YouTube, and we have 7 people watching right now. Yeah, I tweeted it. Yeah. So this is big in Japan. And then our room expires in 5 hours and 55 minutes. So I'm not going to, well, I don't know. But anyways, so this is the first live from the Desk of Lady Ada that's in 360. That's cool. Okay, and then next up I wanted to show another one of the Adafruit factory that we did.
Okay.
So this one is you were wearing your LED hat, and this is inside manufacturing, and you can see.
Yeah, you can actually see the manufacturing as it's occurring.
Yep.
It's picking places, people making boards, storage,
Yeah. So,
my desk.
if you use Google Cardboard or one of the Oculus Rift-like things, you can put it on, and then you can look around while we're
It's
doing
like
this.
Adafruit, I am in you, but it's like I am floating like 5 to 10 feet above the ground in you.
Yeah, and then the next thing that we have in our live series is I wanted to show how we do this from the desk of Lady Ada, because people always ask, how are you actually doing this? You're streaming on like 5 services. No one's doing this
Fios,
at all
really.
whatsoever. Yeah, well, that's helpful.
Okay.
But here's the setup. We're broadcasting live, and then we also are broadcasting on Hug VR, and this is live. And then we have, this is the camera that it uses, and that's a 360 camera, and it's in live mode. And then we're broadcasting on Twitch and YouTube, and then we're broadcasting on Meerkat and Periscope, and then Lady Ada is here, and we're still doing all of this right now. So I'll post this up on YouTube, and this will be archived. But as folks can see. Yeah, we got a lot going on. This is Twitch, and then here's YouTube. So this is happening. Yeah, and Hug VR is the service that we're using to do the VR stuff, which is I've never seen this before, and that's neat. And occasionally you get to see stuff. And then one of the things that we also try to do here is we also try to have cat cam, and here's cat cam. Here he is. Yeah. Hey, cat.
Hey.
Yeah, he's here. He's there. Cat cam.
How did you get the cat pointed on him?
What? It's the camera that's on over there. There's just cameras everywhere. Okay.
I can't even tell which camera this is.
Yeah, I know. All right.
Oh, you just tossed it in. Okay.
Yeah, so that's it. So there's camera inception here.
Cameras.
Yeah. Okay. Woo. All right. Okay. Bye bye. Okay, and then just to add to all this, we're going to be filming a new show with Colin shortly, so expect that soon. And here's a sneak peek. This is it's not out yet. Don't ask preview.
Okay, I haven't even seen this.
You're not going to be able to hear the music.
That's okay. I can bop along.
But you can.
I know it's going to sound cool.
You can see it.
Graphics.
And that's it. So that's where we're filming that soon. So okay, so that's what's going on.
I'd watch that show.
Yeah, that'll be with Colin and Lady Ada. All right.
Wait, I'm going to be in that show.
Yeah. All right. So show and tell. Every week we do this. 7:30.
Oh yeah. It's time
Wednesday.
for me.
People around the world show and share their projects. Some nights it's full, but keep trying because we're going to do this until it stops. And Lady Ada was on the show.
Start off with Tony Nicola from Adafruit Northwest. He did 2 projects. One, he's put together a Windows driver package to make it really easy for people to install the Trinket, Flora, Circuit Playground, Gemma drivers. So we're going to have like we have all the drivers signed, so now we're going to be able to have it be auto installed, which is really nice. And that's beta, but will be really soon. We also had, he had worked on the Circuit Playground capacitive touch synth demo, so finishing up Fermata for Circuit Playground, and then making it so when you touch the little capacitive touch pads, the Circuit Playground beeps. So there's a board that we're going to be coming out with in another week or 2. Noah and Pedro shut off a project, barn doors for LED panels. So we have these lovely little LED panels that have color temperature adjustment and lighting adjustment. And they've made 3D printed barn doors that snap on very nicely so you can adjust the view. And that's the video for 3D Thursday for this week. Lottie is working on a project still in progress, a Sammy Kamar robot. It's a lockpick cracker. This is cool. I remember flashback, I was in high school and it was either in 2600 or a copy of Frack. And there was basically the tutorial on how you could crack it by you kind of jiggle the shank for the. Remember this text file?
Yeah.
It was some text file that I read on something. This was when you would go to BBSs to get information. Now it's all on YouTube.
Yeah,
But
that was
cool.
that was in the same the anarchist cookbook.
Just saying, this is how I learned electronics and robotics.
Mischief goes hand in hand with discovery.
I love it. So I'm really into this. I think this project sounds really great. So he's in progress of building this combo cracker robot. Yeah, by the way, you can do it by hand in about like 5 minutes. So like this, it's not like this robot's doing anything sneaky. It's just automating. But it's a good robotics project. I think it's like nice. It's like better than like a line
If you
follower.
don't like robots, you might like hacking locks.
Hacking robots. Honestly, I probably would have gotten into robotics if there'd been projects like this. Sean came in with a 3D printed thermal detonator from Battlefront, which is a cool video game that I have not played, although I think I might have a copy of it. It's a Star Wars game, and he updated it to add LEDs using a trinket, and it's got like multiple modes, so you can like detonate it, or you can have a timer mode, or you can have it like a neutral mode. It's a really cool little prop, a great use of the trinket, and he said he's learned a lot by having to fit all his code in 5K. And then Alfredo had a bunch of Yun projects, including a lights on and off app for a phone, and then connecting a Yun to a Lockatron with a custom circuit board, and also adding an NFC shield so you can either use your app or NFC tag to open and close the lock for his place. And then he also added Pebble support, so you can now use your watch as well. So you can use your watch, your phone, or an NFC ring. So a lot of options for Alfredo and his projects, and he's doing a lot more stuff, so he's going to come back and show us more. Then Richard A. showed off a Shapeoko PCB milling, a NeoPixel project. He's also using old phones as an IP camera, so that the phone, basically it's got a cracked screen, but it can still work as a IP camera, so you can watch the PCB mill, so you can keep up on it, because it's really loud. You probably want it in another room. Also, he built some cyber goggles for club night, and he really said this is one of the things that got him into electronics, making cyber goggles. And he's also going to an Amazon Maker Faire, so he made a badge with a TFT that will display all sorts of images of the stuff he makes, which is kind of cool. And then Eric asked for some advice for a rover, and we suggested Wi-Fi as a way of connecting and controlling his rover. And then Aiden made a one-way check valve by inserting a silicone flexi valve in during a 3D print and wedging it in. So it's a one-way valve, very useful for pneumatics or hydraulics, because fluids only go one way through this valve. So you can make sure that, like, if you have a pump, you're only going one direction. So very handy to keep things from mixing, or if you want to have, it's basically like a bicycle pump, right? When you push and pull, air only goes one way.
Okay. All participants on the show and tell get an As Seen on the Show and Tell sticker. All you have to do is email support@adafruit.com, and we'll send you out a sticker if you're on the show and tell. To get on the show and tell, you go to google.com/+Adafruit and look for the link at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time, and you just click it. We have too many people in the show and tell circle, so the automatic invites don't go out anymore.
Right, you have to be there.
Just go there. Yeah, you can also go to our event page, but just lurk around in the show and tell event at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time every week, and it will notify you, and/or you'll see it, or hit refresh, and you can join in. Just jump in, have your mics muted, and just get ready to show and share your projects. Thousands of people around the world have shown their projects over the course of, it's going to be 5 years soon.
We had 2 new people today.
Yeah.
Never shown anything.
Okay, mailbag. These are letters that we read to the entire company at our weekly meeting called State of the Fruit.
E-letters.
And we read these to you as well. This one is from Brian. I just have to say, I'm not one to fall head over heels for anything, institution, brand, etc., but Adafruit Industries is surely an exception to that rule. What is going on in Adafruit, I wish were true of other companies. It's not just the innovation, but the community, education, support that you bring. Keep it up.
Yay.
Thank you so much, Brian. We do appreciate these emails that y'all send. All right. Help wanted. This is the Adafruit jobs board. Go to adafruit.com/jobs, and you will see the biggest and only moderated collection of maker jobs. So companies that want to find cool makers, and then makers who have great skills that want to work for a company. So here is this week's job. This one is offering $1,000 to tweak some open source code ASAP. Help. This is from Mike. This project consists of integrating a matrix of LEDs into a t-shirt with the goal of displaying the text and images on the t-shirt. Basically, they're taking the Guggenhat Bluetooth tutorial that we did, and they want to take that code and turn it into a t-shirt. It's probably for a client or a something. And if you want to make $1,000, email Mike. If you're good with looking at our tutorials and can modify code, this might be the project for you.
Yeah.
All right. Next up.
It's funny that they're like, there's only a minor tweak. You have to have a custom app. Okay, but maybe somebody out there has already
Minor
written an Android app or something to do something similar. I've seen people who've done it.
Yeah.
You might be able to build this project.
Okay. Next up, open source hardware. We are an open source hardware company, and today we were awarded the coveted Make Magazine Best in Category. We won in Wearables Light and Sound, and Dirt Cheap. That was for Adafruit Flora, Adafruit Gemma, and Adafruit Trinket. They tweeted us. We really don't know much about this. We just retweeted it and hit like.
This was like 5 minutes ago, but hey, we're winners.
So if you go to Make, they did a big collection of boards. They didn't include some of ours. I think at the time they didn't know about them. So Huzzah, and Metro, and Feather, and Bluefruit, and Fona.
Next year, though.
But they did find Flora, Gemma, and Trinket. So thank you so much, everyone at Make. They selected those, and thanks for including these boards. And speaking of, and this is a big deal, you made it into the New Yorker. Lamore Fried's Artful Electronics. So they took the beautiful photos from our photographer, Andrew Tingle, and your beautiful designs, which I think are art.
Oh, thanks.
And they were in a gallery in the New Yorker, and they talked about how you design things. So check out the New Yorker.
And a great photo for Circuit Playground. Circuit Playground is coming soon. It'll look it actually will look even a little bit nicer than this board, which is like, but Phil B did a lovely silkscreen that will show off very soon. PCBs are arriving in a week or so. We're gonna have the developer edition shortly. So this is kind of nice. Flora did the same thing. We had a photo in the New York Times before, like a week or two before Flora was released, and it was a nice little launching of it.
So it's neat because there's been a couple magazines that have just not been in the electronic space, not in open source hardware space, not in the manufacturing space. So you had a profile in Glamour, and the Samsung SM41 pick and place machine was in there. First time one of those machines was in a magazine like Glamour. And then the New Yorker, which normally isn't associated with electronics in the same way, and certainly not approaching it as an art form yet. It was really neat. So big ups to the team there who really saw that what you're doing is art. This is a very advanced form of art. If aliens land, ask to meet their pets, because I think that matters, and ask to see what their artwork looks like. An advanced civilization probably has some pretty amazing art, and so that's what I think you do.
Okay, cool.
All right, next up, Journeys.
Cyber art.
Yeah, Journeys is happening right now. It's our contest, and we wanted to have something where people who did videos and cool art, basically with drones, could enter in their video. And so we have an awesome team of judges, including
the most qualified.
Including Helen, who was a co-founder of iRobot and also now the CEO of Sci-Fi Works, a drone company.
Also, the godfather of taco-based drones, Star Simpson.
She was on the show just a couple weeks ago. So, anyways, that's the Dronies. You can enter. All you need to do is have a video from a drone, or you can even put a link to someone else's, and maybe they can win. So that's what we're doing. Next up, Arduino news.
There is Arduino news.
There is Arduino news. We got a couple bits of Arduino news. First up today, there is the IDE 1.6.8. It's now available.
Yay! I gotta download it as soon as I get home.
Yeah, there's some Intel stuff in there. There is some consolidations of libraries, I think you mentioned, and then there's some other stuff. So
I think it's, you know what, there was a little rough there, 1.6.5, but a lot of stuff's getting ironed out. And I'm actually into 1.6.7. I use 1.6.7 every day. I'm going to upgrade to 1.6.8 when I get home. Okay. The board manager stuff, it is just like, it's so nice to have board manager. All of the boards that we design, I actually in the last few weeks have been migrating everything. So like Tion Arju, Flora, even the 32U4 Breakout, everything has been ported over to board manager. So you just do one click and you can install support for all of our boards, and we are constantly updating it with bug fixes and tweaks. Like I recently added native I2C support for Trinket and Gemma, so you don't have to use Teeny Wire M. And I could do that because of the board manager, because I could put the wire, the new wire library into the package.
It's never been a better time to do workshops, because you can get the hardware and then use the board manager and everything just works. It's not like putting stuff in a library folder.
It's a lot better. No, or like you create the folder, it's not even there, and you have to spell it right, and it's like, where is it?
So board manager is a big deal. Okay.
Anyways, 1.6.8, download it, I'm sure it's awesome.
And don't forget, the Arduinos from Arduino.cc are made here in the USA by Adafruit.
Yay!
Made by gothy
we
people
make
like
the
us.
Arduino Gemma,
Yeah.
the Arduino Uno, the Mega,
Yeah.
the starter kit, and the Micro, all made in New York.
Yes. Adafruit.
In my head.
Yes.
No. Yes.
So, okay. Anyways, Arduino Day's coming up. It's April 2nd. We'll be doing probably a day-long series of broadcasts. It's on a Saturday, so we'll probably do some Arduino Desk of Lady Ada, some other special things planned. And of course, we'll be celebrating all things Arduino. And speaking of,
Arduino.
yeah, we have an update to probably one of the best resources of Arduino online, which is learn.adafruit.com.
Wow, you totally just like slid right in there into the new Learn.
That's right. This is one of the best places online to learn about Arduino, and lots of updates. The updates, we have a blog post about it. It has a new look. There's a lot of functionality. Some of the things, if you want to know about it, there's new search, so it's instant search, and you see the updates as you go. We've done a lot of work on search across all of the sites.
We're using Algolia, and we really like it.
Yeah.
Yep. It's a service, but they do an excellent job, much better than us with Sphinx. We use Sphinx, and it's okay, but this Algolia is way better.
Yeah, and then within the guide themselves, you can hover over, and then you can expand the images. It's really neat.
Yeah, that's because people are always like, you say you're open source hardware, but your schematics are not readable. And I'm like, no, you click on it to expand. It's a little thumbnail, just click and so
and
now
then
there's an icon.
when and this is a good reason to make an account. In your account, you can set the default page view, so you can decide how you want to see the pages. And then we have new widgets, so the authors can do all sorts of good HTML stuff, and the authors
Markdown.
Yeah, they got Markdown. And then beyond that, there's just
that was mostly for Brandon, but
tons of performance tweaks and more, and you'll start to see other improvements. So this is a big update. Just when you thought it couldn't get better, it did.
Yep. And I love the clean look, and but it's still very similar.
Do you know how many tutorials there are?
There's about 950-ish.
Yeah, about 950-ish. Okay.
950-ish,
All right, so speaking of Lady Ada, I'm going to mix it up a little bit going forward. So instead of having a screen for each one, I just want you to talk about, just briefly, what are some of the new Learn Guides of the week? Okay,
well, these are some of the older ones and newer ones, but I think the first four are the newer ones, right? So we have the tutorial for the IS3FL3731. That's the new product for this week. So these are Charlie Plexed PWM LED drivers. They're really lovely. I'll show them off, but this guide just shows you how to install the library and use the code, and it has some images and wiring. So if you do pick one of those up, that's that. LED barn doors. This is the 3D Thursday project for this week. We'll show a video about it, but for these little LED matrix, the LED lamps that we have in the store, little shaping barn doors, so you can reduce glare or increase glare or whatever you want to do. And then product from last week was the terminal block breakout feathering. That was last week's, but I don't know if we talked about that tutorial. Just shows you how to put it together. It's a terminal block that you can use with any of our feathers, and it has an on-off switch as well, so you can use screw terminals to connect wires for fast prototyping or permanent installations. And then installing blues on the Raspberry Pi is a Tony Nicole. We're doing a lot of small but very useful tutorials because big projects are great, but we still have a lot of little stuff to get out. And this is just how to compile blues, because blues, it's blues.
Yeah. All right. So that's learn.adafruit.com. Go join in on the fun. 950 tutorials. We'll be to 1,000 soon.
We're getting there. I have like 6 I just got to finish it. This on-air lamp is one of them.
Yep. All right, time travel. Look back in the world of makers, hackers, artists, engineers, pioneers, people celebrating something neat or amazing. This week was a big week because it was International Women's Day. So it was originally International Working Women's Day, and it's celebrated on March 8th each year, and different regions celebrate different things. This year, and by the way, it started in 1914, this year we went to an event at Google, and you brought in the noise. No, you brought in the Blinky. And in the background, if you really look close, that's Minerva. She is the CTO of New York City, and she did an amazing a fireside chat, as I call it, with one of the leaders at YouTube, just talking about how to get more of the diversity in tech we all want to see, and some of the challenges, some of the progress, some of the things. So it was neat, and we had a whole series of posts
We
on our
met some
site.
people there.
Met some people there, and then this is Women's Month, and so we have a bunch of things
Yay,
on
we
our
got a
site.
month.
So if you're someone that has someone special in their life, that's a woman, a young girl, and they're thinking about and going into the engineering field, point them at a Lady Ada and show that you can kind of be an engineer, and an engineer isn't what people think it was. You can have pink hair, lip ring, you can
Do art.
yeah, you can do art. So thanks for breaking down those barriers, Lady Ada.
Okay.
So, yeah.
My pleasure.
Yeah. Okay. Next up, we got a wearable video. This is speaking of women in tech, Erin St. Blaine.
Oh, great.
So here we go. Take it away.
Hello! Today, Hot Flash and I are going to show you a quick and easy way to solder a whole bunch of individual NeoPixels together into one flexible, easy to use strand. You can put in any clothing or wearables project that needs to flex a whole lot. And we're going to do it without using conductive thread. First, secure your wires down to the table so they can't move, and then mark out wherever you want each LED to be. Once you've got it all marked, come back with your lighter and burn off just a little bit of shielding at each of your marks. Take your LEDs and slide them onto the wires, making sure they're all oriented in the same direction. Give each LED a twist so that the wires wrap around in place, and then solder it down. Once you've got the power rails completely finished, connect each LED with a data wire. This wire is real easy to strip using just your fingernails. So I like to thread it through the hole first, strip it off a little bit with my nail, and then solder. That keeps you from getting fuzzy wires everywhere. Hook it up to a microcontroller, load it with the strand test code, and make sure all the lights come on.
Okay, 3D printing. Every week we have a special video from Noah and Pedro, the pioneers of so many things in 3D printing. One of the things that you mentioned in Show and Tell is how they will make a project to then do other projects. So this week, the video is 3D printed barn doors. And then you're saying, wow, that's a big 3D print because it's a barn door, but it's something else.
Yes.
All
Mini
right.
barn doors.
Mini barn
Little
doors.
barns.
Hey, what's up everybody? Noah here for Adafruit, and today we're talking about lighting. Yep, lighting is a pretty important part of photography and video. This is the LuxPad LED panel, and it's pretty nice because you can adjust the color temperature and brightness of the LEDs. But sometimes there's situations where that just isn't enough when you need total control of your light source. That's when barn doors are pretty awesome. Barn doors are basically an attachment that's fitted in front of your light source, and it sort of looks like barn doors. These panels are fixed to a hinge, allowing them to be adjusted so that it can shape the beam of light coming from the source. This is really helpful because it can be used to prevent the scatter of light from spilling into the areas that you just don't want, such as hot spots from a subject's face or highlights from the surface of an object. So barn doors come in all sorts of shapes and sizes, but there really aren't any specifically made for our LuxPad LED panels. So that's where 3D printing comes and saves the day. So we went ahead and designed a set of barn doors using Autodesk Fusion 360. Our design consists of a frame, 3 parts, and some connector pieces. The hinges are actually a part of the frame and flattened on one side so that they're easier to 3D print. The bands across the corners keep the frame held onto the LED panel and require a little bit of support material. We use number 632 1-inch long machine screws to join the hinges onto the frame of the connector pieces. This of course can be tightened or loosened to adjust the tolerances. The frame can be flexed slightly so that it can be fitted over the LED panels, and that's basically how to attach the full assembly. So this was a pretty useful project that we thought would be great for 3D printing, and it makes some pretty good results. So if you're looking to gain more control over your light source, a set of barn doors might be that thing that you didn't know you needed. If you guys want to pick up the LuxPad LED panel, we do have them in the Adafruit shop. We'll have it linked above. And if you want to 3D print your own set of barn doors, we'll have the design files linked below. Thank you guys so much for checking in this week. I hope this inspires you to use 3D printing on your project ideas. I'll see you guys next week, but until then, remember to keep on making.
Okay, and
Barns.
but wait, there's more.
Okay.
There's more. We have the Time-lapse Tuesday, which is a thing now.
Yeah.
It's not. It's more than just IoT Tuesday.
I do IoT
It's more than
Tuesday.
Throwback Thursday. It's
Time-lapse Tuesday.
It's Time-lapse Tuesday. It's IoT Time-lapse Tuesday.
Okay.
Where your internet connected camera posts up. All right. I'm just gonna hit play. Okay, and
so cute.
don't forget tomorrow is 3D Thursday Hangouts with Noah and Pedro. All right, Raspberry Pi stuff. For Raspberry Pi news this week, I want to point to some videos. I'm not going to play them because they're long videos.
Okay.
So the first one is from the desk of Lady Ada, and this is going to be weird because you're going to be looking at yourself, talking about yourself, doing this thing. But this is you in front of that desk over there, that
Yeah,
desk of Lady Ada. And what did you show off?
Oh, this was a video that I did in-house, and I was basically testing out a sample for a power supply that we just got from our power supply manufacturer. And this is a 5.2 volt, 2.4 amp power supply. So this is something that the Pi 3, it's the suggested power for the Pi 3. And so we're going to be updating our power supplies to have that higher power one. But I wanted to verify that, it says it can supply 2.4 amps, but does it really? And when it's supplying 2.4 amps, is there a lot of ripple? And like, how good is it? And what's the voltage droop? So I hooked up to my load, programmable load, my B&K programmable load, and my oscilloscope, and I just tweaked up the load while measuring the voltage to see, what happens as you go over different loads and like what's the voltage and the ripple. And it actually passed test, but it kind of shows you how I check the power supplies to make sure that they're good quality. This is one of the things, and I also load them. Like I went up to 3 amps to see like what happens at 3 amps. Does it catch on fire? Didn't catch on fire. Actually worked just fine. And so we're going to be ordering some.
Okay, so I'd say if you want a view into what an engineer does, check out the Desk of Lady Ada. We have the playlist on YouTube, but also every day, almost, I think we've streamed live. Yeah, so it's neat. I'm learning a lot, and so are the people who watch. And then the other Raspberry Pi news is big ups to Tony DeCola, who's in the chat. He's in Twitch, I believe, right now. And also on the big board on Lifehacker, went through all the different ways you can emulate retro games on the Pi 3.
Cool.
So this is, it is neat because not only do you get to see all the different types of emulations, you can watch Tony D do very good in some games, and some games I think he needs a little bit more practice. He hasn't played Metroid for probably 20 years, but you know what's neat too? I liked in the video game, so the emulators can play ROMs, and people have updated the ROMs better.
Oh yeah.
So you get like a map, and like the way
cool.
like in Metroid, like it tells you like, oh, you can turn into a ball. Like it gives you some instructions instead of letting you wander around for years trying to figure out this old game.
Okay.
That's kind of neat.
Because they used to come with books. It's
You'd
interesting.
have to get Nintendo
they used to
Power
have to get
and
little
stuff.
booklets that came with it, and they would
Yeah,
instruct.
there was no
instructions.
internet back then, so they had to distribute the tips on a book.
Well, but also like they would tell you how to use everything because it was like you were expected to have the booklet, but then eventually they're like, oh, you know what? Nobody ever reads a booklet, so we should just teach you how to play the game
Yeah.
from within the game.
I always thought like Make magazine was kind of like the Nintendo Power for makers, like that's the way
Yeah.
that's the way I thought of it.
Supplementary.
Yeah. Anyways,
Arduino
so
Power.
That's the Pi stuff. All right. So before we get to new products, Lady Ada, the code is new learn. Celebrating learn.adafruit.com. It's updated. It's fast. It's searchy. It's graphic-y. Get 10% off tonight. New products.
Okay, we're gonna do the new.
All right. Let's do this.
Okay,
Filament.
starting up, we have some PLA filament. This is, we're trying out a new supplier of filament. So we're able to lower prices and the quality is as good or better. This is a natural 1.75 millimeter filament. Works great with pretty much every single printer you would ever encounter. And apparently it's like made out of corn or something.
Yeah.
But it's a great,
And here's the deal. If Noah and Pedro say it's the best and it works great, it does.
Yeah.
End of story, because they have to do a show every week. They have to actually use all this stuff. They actually have to do it. They aren't just testing, they're using.
yeah, so we get filament
Yeah.
that doesn't clog, that it looks good, it flows cleanly. I mean,
Yeah.
like, I think I saw like a tweet from Chris Anderson. He says like, I got some cheap filament from Asia, and he's like, turns out that it doesn't really work and it clogs your 3D printer and it sucks.
I would say it's okay to get some cheap things.
But not filament.
But the thing that you probably want to make sure you do a little research is this thing that you can blow 8 or 9 hours on if you make a
I
mistake.
know, right?
So like if you've come back to your 3D printer
if you
and
have a good spool, it'll last you for a really long
Yeah.
time. It's worth. It's only like another $10 to get good filament.
Okay. All right. Next up, I'm going to show the video,
Okay, show the videos.
and
That's
you
cool.
can say what these are. So what is this?
This is the 144 LED per meter skinny NeoPixel strips. So we have these, they're extremely high density strips and they have little cut marks in between, and these use the mini NeoPixel. So they're actually a little skinnier, and I'll show them on the overhead.
Yeah, and I got.
You
some
know, let me grab my calipers.
Yeah, I got some photos.
Let's show the photos. Yeah, so they're rainbowy and very glowy.
And you want me to go to the overhead while you?
Yeah, I'm just grabbing my caliper. I just realized I
Okay.
wanted to. It's one of the nice things about
All right.
being so close to my desk.
And
So
we've got a new overhead. This is working.
new fancy overhead that doesn't crash. I mean, the other one didn't crash that much either, but this one's even better. So
Less
this
crashy.
this is the old filament, and this filament was inside of the sheathing. It's about 13.75 millimeters, and then this one is about 10 millimeters. But if I'm just measuring the strip itself that's on the inside, this is about 6.7, maybe like 7 millimeters in width. And the wider strip is about 12 millimeters. So it's about 5 millimeters thinner, but it still has the same pixel density. So that's kind of nice. It looks like it's less dense because the pixels are smaller, but it actually is 144 LEDs per meter. And there's pretty large cut marks in between, so it's very easy to cut and organize them. So this is the skinniest digital addressable LED strip we've got. So this is great for, I like these for costuming and wearables because, you know, the 30 and 60 LED per meter is about half the width. It's easier to slip into your projects or your goggles or your coat or your whatever, your magical wand that has accelerometer built into it, whatever.
And the difference between the two products that we're showing is one is black
One has a black flex strip and one has a white one.
and one's white. So
Yeah, it's exactly the same, but some people, you know, because it's blending in with the background
yeah,
of
if
something.
you're doing an art installation where maybe it matters when it's turned off what it looks like, that might be something.
Yeah.
Or if you're like me, if you just like black,
You can barely tell when it's on, but
you can. It's blinding.
it's blinding.
Blinding. Okay. All right. Next up,
Okay,
we
but
got
NeoPixels.
we got this driver, PWM driver.
Yeah, so this is the fancy new product for the week. This is the
It's
grand
the
prize.
star of the show besides you
Star of the show
this week.
is the IS31. I can't remember the part number. The IS31 FL3731 PWM LED I2C driver. Okay, so what is this thing? This is a chip that you can control over I2C, so you can use it with any microcontroller, microcomputer. You can use it with a Raspberry Pi or an Arduino or a BeagleBone or like a ESP8266, whatever. And what it can do is it can control a grid of 16 by 9 LEDs in a Charlieplex matrix, and it can individually dim any of the LEDs with 8-bit PWM. So it not only is a full Charlie plexing, it does it so fast it can also do LED dimming, and so you can have really beautiful lighting effects because you don't have just the LED on or off. You can have it dim or have like variations in color, so in brightness. So we have the driver, and this is just the driver. You connect over I2C. You can have 4 of them on an I2C bus. And it has that A1 through A9 and then B1 through B9 on the top and bottom. And those are the pins that you connect to your CharliePlex matrix. And so you can DIY your own matrix, just follow the schematic in the data sheet. I mean, it's just like a ridiculous matrix, but you can do it. Or you can pick up one of our ready-to-go LED matrices. So we pick and placed, it's basically exactly the same size. We actually made the LED matrix first with the 0603 LEDs, and then we made the backpack so it fits perfectly on the back.
So
we have it in red.
Yeah, and I got these videos, so let's...
This is just a swirl, so it shows you that it can dim the LEDs, which is very rare. Usually with an LED matrix, it cannot dim individual LEDs. You can either have them on or off, or dim the entire thing on or off. This is like a kind of a big deal. I've never seen a driver that does this.
This is a big deal.
Green, beautiful green, and we've got... this is a nice InGaN green, and then we have blue, lovely blue, and then white, which is super bright. So you have dimmable white.
Yeah.
And I also have...
yeah, we're going to go to the overhead.
I'll definitely go to the overhead. So this is, I made this version of the demo. So this is that chip. So it's a 0.4 millimeter chip, but yeah, and you can change the brightness with changing RX, but by default I think it's like 6 milliamps. You can make it even brighter if you want. And we brought out all the pins. It's 3 and 5 volt compatible, so use it with whatever microcontroller you like. And then let me connect this up, plug this in, and reset that. And then I have all the different LED matrices. So this is just I put sockets in this to make it easy, but you can solder it directly. So this is showing a little demo with some text, showing lines and graphics and scrolling text capabilities. So that's yellow. And then I'll show, this is gonna be white. So white's very bright.
That's cool.
So yeah, very bright, very nice. But perfect for if you want to make an animation or a little display and you want to have individual LEDs. Another thing that this chip can do, which is really neat, which I haven't taken advantage of, is you can have 8 frames of buffer memory. So you can do double buffering or like quad or doubling, buffering if you want. You basically can write to individual memory and then tell it to swap it out so you can get instant updates. So if you want to do very smooth animations, you can do that. So it's red. This is the green. I really like this green. This is a nice in-gap green, not the low voltage green, but the 3.4 volt green. So let's wait till it changes and I'll swap it out. So you can see it's like, it's bright and then like it's dimmer. It can do a dimness with drawing, so you can set the color basically, and then this is going to be blue. So we have basically 5 colors that I think are worth having. Any other LEDs are not worth having, but actually got these a long time ago and I finally got around to finishing it up. But when you make this, you would solder it together into this little backpack, so you don't have to have socket headers. You just solder it directly, and you can have wires instead of header, but I just like to have it plug into a breadboard. And then, just use our library to draw pixels or draw text.
Yeah. Okay. And with that, Lydia, is the new products for the week.
Yay!
Good work.
Hello, world.
You did it. Okay. Well, letting folks know if you want to buy one of those things that you've seen, the code is NewLearn, 10% off in the Adafruit store.
Yay!
And now it is time for everyone's favorite segment. And also your on-air sign. So this is an Internet of Things on-air sign now. It turns on when we're on
It's automatic,
Twitch.
so I don't have to, you're always like, reach over there and turn it on and turn it off. I don't have to. We can change the color.
Yeah.
This is red, we can make it pink or green.
And we're going to email our contacts at YouTube Live and say, could you have it like Twitch? So it's an easy to ping. It's a JSON.
Yeah, what's
right?
cool. We did a stream about it last night. But Twitch.tv, you can just go to the Twitch. You have to SSL in, but if you just connect to twitch.tv/kraken/stream/ the username of the person you're following,
It'll tell you.
It'll give you the data down.
Yeah, it'll say if they're streaming, and it'll say the channel name,
What game they're playing.
Yeah, the title of the broadcast, and so
how long they've been streaming, number of
There
viewers.
is a YouTube API, but it's really complicated. So we're gonna maybe find out, because we think there'd be a whole range of Internet of Things devices that let people know when their favorite live broadcasts are on.
Yeah, and what I
Go
love
figure.
about it is like the way, because I was like trying to figure out how to do if this and that, and I was like, oh, there's gonna be some OAuth API, and then I found the thread, and somebody asks, like, the developer's like, okay, but you don't have to authenticate, you don't need OAuth, you don't need like an API key, and they're like, no, you just go to this URL and you just put in the REST, whatever the stream you want to follow, and they're like, but what if somebody abuses it? And they're like, what on earth could you possibly be doing to abuse it? If you hit the website too much, our firewall's going to block you anyway, so just don't be a jerk. And we don't, why weight limit? It's not Twitter. You're just getting stream info. So, we built this little sign last night, basically, and it connects over SSL to Twitch, and it just turns on whenever we're streaming. So, kind of handy. But we're going to make I thought maybe we made a little desktop version too.
Yep.
So other people can make their own little mini on-air signs.
We'll get there. I think all the streaming services are going to do it.
Yeah, they should just do
Okay,
it.
so it's oops, I want to play the animation. It's top secret time.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, you wanted to show a top secret. It's not out yet. Don't ask. It's one of the feathers. Oh wow, that landed right on my head. That's cool.
You are a bird.
I'm a bird nest. I'm sure there's a They Might Be Giant song here. Okay, so it's not out yet. Don't ask. What is this?
This is. Oh, you want to zoom in? Can you zoom in more?
You can.
I did.
You can pull this
down,
yeah.
and then
Yeah. That's what you want to do.
Sorry, I keep forgetting that there's multi-controls.
Yeah.
So this is a new feather that's coming out in a week-ish or so. So I'm not sure exactly when, but we manufacture them. We're just fixing up some firmware, and this uses a Wicked module. So this is an STM. 32F205. It's a Cortex M3 processor with Wi-Fi built in. Broadcom Wi-Fi, can do TLS 1.2. It's got a built-in antenna, 2 megabyte flash on there because we had some space. It's feather compatible, so it works with all of our feathered things. You can use it for data logging or add LEDs to it, or the NeoPixels or the terminal blocks or whatever. Program over USB, and it's going to come with a full Arduino compatibility, so you basically use the board manager, install support for STM32 Wicked, and we even wrapped up the Broadcom library into a nice API that's client compatible, so you'll be able to use the very high power, high capability Wi-Fi module out of the box with Arduino, and this is going to be a new feather. This has been in progress. This is K-Town and TAC have been working on this project for about a year now, and I think it's going to be awesome when you see it. This is going to be neat. It's very high power, Cortex M3, and we added support for it. So you want to do awesome Wi-Fi stuff? This is it. This is the highest end Wi-Fi embedded stuff you can get.
Yeah. Okay, and that's top secret. It's not out yet. Don't ask. All right, it is now time for questions. Start loading them up in the chat. We'll get to as many as we can. This is the first question. In your opinion, what's the favorite starter Arduino from Arduino.cc, excluding the Uno? So best used with the breadboard.
I think the Uno is the best starter one. You got to start with the Uno and then try the Zero. I think the Zero is a good next step.
Okay. Next up, someone is making an Iron Man project, and they need a good 12-volt power supply for 2 Arduinos and a small LED headlight and a NeoPixel ring. They want it to be last for a convention or less.
Their best bet is actually getting an 8 AA power supply. We have them in the store. You can also maybe pick them up from your Radio Shack or whatever. But basically, 8 AA batteries in a row is going to give you about 12 volts. That'll definitely power a headlamp and a couple of Arduinos for a while.
Okay. Next up, we're using a Feather 32U4 BLE board at GT. Want to be able to connect and stream the board's data through virtual COM port without the app, so we can port the data into a GUI. Any suggestions?
Yeah, check out under Bluefruit. We have software suggestions, and you can use Noble, which works on a bunch of different operating systems. Mac works really good. We also have some Python code that you can basically connect to each individual device on a computer, and you can connect to as many as you want. You would identify it by the MAC address or the hardware name, right? So you set the hardware name, gap name, the advertising name, and then you would connect that way, and then you could connect to each one on your computer.
Okay, I've not gotten a Ting SIM card from my phone, a Feather. It still can be used without service, right?
You can, but a lot of capability won't be available. So like you can't do SMSs, of course, and you can turn it on and you can like query it and say like, hey, are you alive? But you won't be able to actually do anything without a SIM card.
Yeah. Okay. Next up, how much? Okay, wait. I gotta go back. There's a lot more questions than I thought. Okay. Any info on the Pi 3 Model A would be released? Don't know.
Gotta ask Pi Foundation.
Post up in raspberrypi.org.
Go bug them. Not out yet.
we find out almost the day that it's announced.
Yeah.
What is the best battery option to power a trinket and actuator? I've had it working with 9 volt, but apparently that's frowned upon.
I think 3 AAA or AA batteries is a good bet, because any actuator is not going to like running off a 9 volt.
Okay, has the whole Arduino.cc, Arduino.org thing been resolved yet? No, there's a trademark dispute, and the best way to solve it and bring it to the fastest conclusion is demand from your suppliers that they get real boards from Arduino.cc. That's who actually has the Arduino name in the United States. So if you ask for it, if you say it's important, you'd be actually also supporting Adafruit, because we make the USA Arduino.cc boards. So it's really up to all of us if we want to see a speedy conclusion. Next up, someone has questions about making custom microcontroller boards.
Okay. I need the question, yeah.
How much power do the Charlie Plex LEDs use?
You can look up the data sheet for how many it is per LED. I think it's by default, I think I set it to like 8 milliamps per LED. But not all of them are on at once. I think only like 9 are on at the same time. So it depends on how many LEDs are lit and what brightness, but I'm gonna guess give yourself like about 100 milliamps for the LED driver and matrix for whatever you're displaying.
Okay, hey guys, I've been cracking my head for the last week trying to find a way to duplicate SPI squared C. Anyone can point me to look or guide, please? Thanks, I'm making my own SAM-R21 board.
I don't know the SAM-R21, but the SAM-D21, I have a guide called all about Circoms, and it's in the learning system. So look for Circom, like search for Circom in the learning system on learn.adafruit.com, and I have a tutorial on how to do it under Arduino. Okay. You have to use the Atmel software framework.
Adafruit, why NYC? Why not? I guess is the bigger question.
Because we're here.
Why wouldn't we want to be in New York City? Any chance we'll carry XBs? We do.
We do.
Just search on XBs on the site. How much power does the Feather M0 Wi-Fi use?
It depends on what mode you're using, but if you look at the tutorial under the power page for the tutorial for the Feather M0 Wi-Fi, I do some logs with the power monitor. I show the amount of power it's using. I think it was like on average like 20 milliamps. And then when you're actually transmitting or receiving, I think it peaks up to 100 milliamps. But check out, because I have graphs.
Okay. Next up. What are the pins to power an Atmega 328? Can I program it with an Arduino and use it in my project without using your Uno? Does the Atmega 328 with the Uno bootloader for this work?
Yeah, you can use Uno as ISP. That's actually what's called like Arduino ISP, and you can use that to program in the Uno. And there's tons of tutorials on like Instructables and Arduino.cc, and they'll show you how to wire it up and power it.
Okay. Next up. Next question. Okay, I got to that one. There's a lot of questions there. Okay. Working with students at 3D printed fashion show will also be a light up dress to twinkle and fade. Is fluoroacceleron NeoPixel's best choice? How many NeoPixels can I attach to one pin? I'm a newbie, so thanks for that. Oh, we have a amazing
sparkle skirt.
Yeah, go check out the sparkle skirt guide on learn.adafruit.com. That is exactly the project, and we also in the NeoPixel guide have all the questions answered. How many can you power for what?
I mean, a lot, but you use some silicone wire and just follow our sparkle skirt tutorial, and you'll be good to go.
Okay, since the Arduino came before the Pi, why didn't the Pi adopt 5 volts for compatibility? If you were queen for the day, I mean you're not, what voltage would you declare as the industry standard and why?
Well, the Pi chip itself does not get manufactured in 3.3 volts, so it's not even up to them. But I actually think 3.3 volts is the way to go. I think that is the industry standard, and I think we should just stick with it. I think it's a fine standard. Look, 5 volt has some benefits, but I think at this point, 3 volt is the standard.
Okay. Next up, will we be making a PC fabrication kit? Probably not.
No, probably not.
Next up, can a Gemma or Flora be used for data logging, time duration of the state in which a switch is on and off, and then wire it to an Arduino and download the data, or is it only something that an Arduino can do? No, it's...
I think either can do it, but
yeah.
you should probably just use one Arduino for your project.
Yeah. But basically, if an Arduino can do something, a Flora can. A Gemma is a smaller, lower power, less memory. So you might want to figure out, a lot of people prototype on an Uno and then figure out what they can squeeze down into something like a Gemma or a Flora.
Yeah.
But a Flora is the closest thing
Well,
to...
it sounds like crazy. It's like, oh, but then I want to download to an
Yeah.
Uno. That gets to where it gets difficult.
Yeah. And then we also have a video, Flora Gemma.
Yeah.
So if you want to look at that. Okay. Next up, can I take the SIM card out of my Verizon phone and use my phone a feather? Probably not.
Verizon doesn't use SIMs.
Yeah.
So no, it's the wrong kind of cellular network.
Yeah. Next up, I think I got most of them.
Yeah, there's a lot. I mean, we're not going to get to it.
Yeah,
There's
some of
hundreds
these.
of questions.
Yeah, some of these are theoretical. What are the pins on that Mega 328 to power it?
Check the data sheet. I mean, like, I don't remember the
All right.
offhand which pin numbers.
Next up, I have a cat water fountain that I'd like to control via relay. The only problem is I lost the power supply and the pump takes 12 volt AC. Is there any cheap, easy way to get 12 volt AC power to it?
Oh boy, yeah, you're gonna have to get a 12 volt. I mean, like, you can buy 12 volt AC power supplies. They're rare, but you can get them. You probably do need to have an AC, depending on the motor type. You may actually need to have an AC adapter, but get like a transformer power supply. They're still made. I mean, they're not supposed to be sold with goods, but you can still get them for back compatibility.
Yeah. This one, we never really do like what's better than that. There's always like pros and cons with electronics. So an ESP8266 or particle photon.
They
so
both have pros and
yeah,
cons.
ESP8266, you're probably going to be doing a lot of the support and development on your own.
Yeah, you're on your own for that.
Where the particle photon, their whole thing is basically giving you the hardware.
Yeah.
And then they have an entire IDE and fully supported thing to get you up and running as fast as possible. Where we're seeing something like the ESP in all sorts of like Home Depot outlets and stuff. It is like, here you go, good luck.
Yeah, no, you're definitely on your own with the ESP. Like, you're going to deal with community support, whereas with the Photon, you have, you have a company that is supporting it.
Yeah, it just depends on like what you're going to put in.
Yeah.
So,
Okay,
and then
wrap it up.
Yeah, we're wrapping it up.
Okay.
Okay. So those are the questions, Lady Ada.
Yeah.
That was
I
it.
did a lot, so
No, you're fine.
I feel
You're done.
I'm falling
You
asleep.
speed rounded it.
Yeah.
I know. That's right. We got 2 minutes.
I know.
Okay.
But I got to keep
All
it
right.
together for a quiz.
That was it. All right. Trivia question. What are the rules?
The rules are, if you've won something before, you can't win again. Only one winner per my lifetime for this show. So if you've already won a fabulous prize from this show, just keep quiet. Don't give people the answer or hints or anything. Let them figure it out for themselves. That is the best way. That way they'll feel proud of their accomplishments. We like having a new winner every single week. The prize this week is 1 meter of NeoPixel strip.
Wow.
Wow.
So it'll be something like this.
Something like that. You get 1
right.
meter of NeoPixel strip.
Okay.
2970. That's what you're gonna get.
Okay. The trivia question is, how many tutorials are on learn.adafruit.com right now? Go to learn.adafruit.com, scroll down to the bottom, it says it. First person I see in the chat, in one of these chats, will get it. And then they'll see the new Learn. That's how we know. And see, it's right here.
Yep.
It's right there.
How many tutorials? We said approximately how many tutorials.
Okay, congratulations, Platypus 1. And
You're a platypus.
Platypus 1 in Twitch.
Platypus
You're
1 is the winner.
Email support at adafruit.com
and say
and tell them you won.
A 2970.
PID what?
$29.70.
$29.70. All right, that'll help everyone in support.
Yes.
Okay.
Please give them that number because then they will know exactly what it is that you won.
Congratulations, platypus_1.
Yay!
You woke up this morning and you're like, should I change that username? No, I'm going to stick with it.
Number 1.
Yeah, it's way better than platypus_2, who did not win.
Did not win. Came in second place.
Yeah. Oh. All right.
All right. Thanks,
That's it
everybody.
for the show tonight. Thank you, everyone. Don't forget the code is NEWLEARN. That gives you 10% off in the Adafruit store all the way up to 11:59 p.m. We are
I'm gonna fall asleep.
we are only supported by
You.
by you, the viewers and community and customers. No loans, no venture capital. Maybe one day we'll have to do it, but so far we haven't because y'all keep buying some stuff. And
Thank you.
That's why we wanted to give you this discount because you're watching us.
We're
right
on
now.
air.
Yeah. So use that code NEWLEARN.
Hopes and dreams don't pay for on-air signs.
And we'll be doing some Desk of Lady Ada. We got Colin's live show coming up soon. We got 3D Hangouts tomorrow. Earlier today was Show and Tell.
Yeah.
And then we've been broadcasting live from the Desk of Lady Ada here at the factory as well. So, you know, cool stuff.
All sorts of things.
We'll see everybody next week. Here is a picture of a cat.
Meow.
Thank you, everyone.
You can see
Adafruit
Cat Cam
staff
on,
and people in the chat.
Desk Lady 80, you can see Cat Cam.
Here's your moment of Zener.
Yay.